Welcome back to ReadingBear. Today, we will take a look at some new Entitledpeople stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first one is titled, Entitled Karen Gets Mad She Can't Use Our Restroom Because It's Broken. So, I'm normally one to stalk Reddit in the shadows, but I figured I'd share a little Thanksgiving Karen moment I just had. I'm at work and on mobile, so I apologize for any format issues. Hopefully this is the right place for this. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving everyone and enjoy. TLDR at bottom, me, the manager of this location, Karen, entitled woman with a stick up her butt. So I work for a gas station chain that often is found on the same property as Walmart, and no, we are not Walmart as everyone seems to think. That's why we are open and they are closed. Thanksgiving Day we are open and it's notoriously slow, so once I'm done with paperwork and such, I decided to get outside and do some stocking and cleaning. Which wasn't done the night before as it should have been. We are a kiosk store, so the way it's set up is you have coolers and snack racks on either side of a walkway that leads you to the window where the register is. Said coolers are stocked through doors on the backside. The storage room and bathroom doors are on the side of the building near the back. So now that I've explained that, onto the encounter. I had just filled my cart with drinks and walked to the backside of the cooler to stock. I can hear and see if anyone passes in front of the cooler, so I know when a customer comes up. A woman passes in front of the cooler I'm stocking, so I stop, shut the door and enter the kiosk to take care of her. Me, good morning ma'am, what can I do for you today? Karen, oh, I'm so thankful you are open. Is your bathroom unlocked? Me, yes ma'am, we only close on Christmas. And I apologize for the inconvenience, but our bathroom is out of order and locked. Karen gets suddenly flustered and loud. Well, why? Can't you fix it? Me, trying to hide the sigh I want to let out because I already know how this is going to go. No ma'am, we are not able to fix it and are currently waiting on them to send a plumber out. The toilet is completely clogged and will not flush, and we believe we have a busted pipe somewhere. She cuts me off. Karen, well, that doesn't make any sense. You're just too lazy to fix it. I need to use your restroom, so open it for me. At this point her face and ears are getting red and I'm just standing there with an annoyed look behind me mask as she yells at me. I take a deep breath and remind myself, I have to be professional because I'm the manager. Sigh me, no ma'am, I cannot let you use my bathroom. I'm sorry, it's out of order. It will not flush and we believe we have a busted line or severe clog. Karen, I need to pee. I have to go now. Nowhere else is open. You have to let me use it. Now. She is full on screaming at me at this point. I kept going, someone else would walk up, forcing her to give up and leave. But no such luck. Me, ma'am again, I'm sorry for your inconvenience, but the bathroom is out of order. At this point I'm over it and my frustration are starting to show. Karen, you can't talk to me that way, I'm a paying customer. Unlock your bathroom now and get the manager on the phone because they need to know about their rude lazy employee. WHO won't let me use the bathroom. Me, for starters I am the manager, and no, the bathroom is out of order. And ma'am, you haven't purchased anything, so you are not a paying customer. If you'd like to purchase something, I can help you with that, otherwise I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I have plenty of work to keep myself busy on this slow day, and I'd like to get back to it. Never saw this woman in my life, she is definitely not a regular. She calms down suddenly and gets a smirk on her face. Karen, fine, I'll just call corporate number and tell them how horribly you treated me. I smirk back at her, pointing as I speak. Me, if that's what you'd like to do ma'am, then I can provide you with that number, but I will let you know that everything we do here is recorded with audio. Showing her the microphone and cameras. Give me just a moment and I'll write that number down for you. Karen looks around and then gets flustered yet again, flailing her arms about. No, you've done enough already. You've ruined my Thanksgiving. Hope you're happy. She then storms off, gets in her car and squeals tires out of the parking lot. And that was the end of that. People are so frustrating sometimes, but just got to keep moving forward. Thanks for letting me share my lovely Thanksgiving Karen encounter. This job seems to attract those types of people, so I might just start sharing those stories more here. I hope everyone has an awesome and safe Thanksgiving this year, and for those who don't celebrate it, I hope you have an awesome day as well. The next one is titled, Entitled Woman Abandons Her Cat on Our Doorstep. Okay. This happened about 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember for sure. I was about 11 or 12 years old and I'm 19 now, so do the math. I live in a suburb outside of a large Midwestern city in the USA, and just to say it, my neighborhood isn't exactly poor, which makes this even weirder. Anyways, on with the story. It was about 9 at night and my family and I were sitting watching some TV when we heard a scratching on our front door. My dad went and opened it to find a black cat meowing, basically begging to be fed. He wasn't too underweight, but he was hungry, so we gave him some dry cat food. We already had 4 cats at the time, so giving out a bowl of food wasn't an issue. We quickly went back to watching TV and the cat ate some food and went on his way. Then to the next afternoon. I'm hanging out with my neighbor when we spot the cat again. I decide to go get my mum so we can take him to the vet. Side note, we had found a cat that tested positive for FELV, Feline Leukemia, which is an extremely contagious and deadly disease, and we wanted to make sure this cat didn't have it. My neighbor was able to quickly grab him and found out just how sweet he is. As she was petting him, she also noticed that he wasn't a fully black cat, he had white markings and looked more like a tuxedo cat. He was just so dirty that he looked completely black. I quickly got my mum and we put him in a carrier. We rushed him to our vet, which wasn't too far, about a mile or so, and she was quickly able to look him over and find that he had a microchip. Another thing about him is that he was declawed in the front. Some coyotes live around us and this poor cat wouldn't be able to defend himself. After my vet checked him over, he seemed pretty healthy, except for being covered in mud and dirt, as well as his paw pads being pretty ripped up from walking on the hot asphalt since it was the middle of summer at the time. The highs would get to about 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and for a fluffy cat like him, it sounds unbearable. Another thing our vet told us was that she had seen this family's dogs before, but never this cat. These people would hunt with their dogs, and when they couldn't smell the prey anymore, they'd kill them. It was horrible to hear. So, after learning he had a microchip, we decided to drive him to his home. This part of the story is from my mum's account. Enter entitled woman, M. Entitled woman MM, my mum MM, knocks on the door as the woman answers, looking annoyed. M, yes? MM, hi. I think I found your cat. He was about a mile away from your home in our neighbor's front yard. I thought I'd bring him back. Is this him? M, unfortunately. MM, let's him into the house, okay? Well, you should know that it's dangerous to have a declawed cat outside around here. Some predators could hurt him. M, well, he's a failed show cat, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. Anyways, we share him with the neighbors. Her husband walks past. Honey, the cat is back. The husband rolls his eyes, barely acknowledging and continuing to walk away. MM, well, if I find him again, can I keep him since you obviously don't want him? M, yeah, whatever, just stay out of our business from now on. Goodbye. Slams the door. My mum leaves after that, a little shocked, but also angry. Later that night, we hear a car speed off and open our front door to see what was going on. We found the same little cat on our doorstep again. This woman had dropped him off at our doorstep. Trust me, he can't move that fast. We quickly decided to keep him, and we changed his microchip after reporting animal cruelty to the local police. We showed them pictures of his condition and they quickly gave us ownership and fined the couple. We never saw those people again luckily, and we now have the sweetest cat ever, so, their loss. The next one is titled, Crazy Lady Accuses Me of Kidnapping My Stepson. Tries to kidnap him from me. So, this happened about a week ago and I honestly am still fuming from this. I'm not sure if this belongs in this subreddit, but here goes. First, a little backstory. I'm a mixed ethnicity individual. I've been confused for many races over the course of my 29 years on this planet, but I'm literally Caucasian and African American. Usually it can be figured out, but the difference with me is my father is the Caucasian, so therefore my hair is straight. I'm originally from Texas and am usually confused for being Mexican. But now I live in Massachusetts and I've never had an issue with anyone concerning my race, until this day. Also, I am married to a Caucasian woman who had a child before we were married. His father is not in his life as much, and I took the responsibility because I love this woman and I love this little boy as if he were my own. He's 4 now and I've been in his life since he was 1. Anyways, onto the story. My wife needed a few things from the grocery store and she needed to run a few more errands, and usually she just goes and knocks things out herself because I'm sleep, I work nights, but this particular day I happened to be awake and I offered to go for her. She works hard and does a lot, so I definitely felt it was necessary to do something for her so she could just relax for the day. I took my son with me so she could rest up and just take it easy, and it gave me time to spend with my son for some bonding. We completed all of the errands, which went smoothly, and then headed to the grocery store to finish up our day. My son, being a typical 4-year-old, was full of energy, running ahead of me, laughing and speaking to everyone he comes across, which I generally don't mind as long as he doesn't hit anyone and stays within eye view. As I'm making my way down an aisle looking for canned corn, my son jogs to the end of it when an older lady is entering at the other end. My son, being the sweet social butterfly he is, approached and exclaims an excited, "Hi. Me for and me Ryan." Bless his little heart. The lady looked down and says, "Well, hello there. You shouldn't be running around unattended, let's go find your parents." I didn't think anything of her statement because I assumed she just hadn't seen me. "Ryan. Come back here, bud, please." He excitedly runs back toward me and starts turning in circles because he's 4 lol. I'm still searching the shelves as the lady walks past me and stops behind me. Again, I think nothing of it because it's a grocery store and you have to share the aisles. I turn my basket around and start to walk toward the front cash registers when this lady literally blocks my path. I say excuse me and try to walk around her, and she moves her cart in front of me again. I honestly thought she was just getting confused and said excuse me once again and tried one more time to go around, and she just blocks my path. The following convo ensues: "Me, I'm sorry about that, we'll get out of your way." Lady: "Oh, I don't think so. You're not going anywhere with that child." Me: "You mean my son?" Lady: "That's not your child. He's white. And you're Mexican. You probably didn't even know his name until he said it to me." Me: "Sure, whatever lady, can you just move? My wife is at home and anxiously waiting for us." Lady: "Stop your lies. You're not taking him anywhere, you pervert." This whole time my son is standing close to me holding my leg because he was honestly getting scared. I was getting angry because I hadn't had much sleep and I have a short fuse anyway, thanks Dad. Me: "As you can see, he's standing close to me because he trusts me and you're scaring him, so how about you buzz off?" Lady: "No. He's scared because of you. He just doesn't know how to express it yet." She looks at my son. Lady: "Come on now, sweetie, I'm here to rescue you. Come with me." Thankfully my son was able to communicate to her he wasn't going anywhere with her. But she was having none of it. She literally grabbed my son and began to run. It caught me off guard because I honestly could not fathom what was actually happening. My son starts screaming loudly because he was so scared, and this lady is just like, "Don't worry sweetie, he won't hurt you, I promise." Suddenly I snap back into reality and I begin to chase after this crazy winch. While running through the store, I yell for people to stop her and that she's kidnapping my son, and thankfully a worker stops her before she makes the exit. Lady: "Why are you stopping me? This Mexican here is trying to kidnap my grandson." My son literally is bawling his eyes out and extending his arms out calling for me. This lady was relentless and would not let go until my son, even after he slaps her face multiple times. I laughed a little, not going to lie. At this point a manager shows up and asks what's going on. The lady spoke before me. Lady, this pointing at me, pervert is trying to kidnap my grandson and I was just trying to escape. Me, that's my son, you a freaking psycho. Now let him go. The manager didn't know what to believe. I don't blame him, he was caught in a weird situation. So, I pulled out my phone and showed him pictures of me and my son that dated a year or so back as proof. This lady still would not give up and accused me of faking them. Like, how would you do that exactly? I'll never know, but whatever. Sadly, there were 2 other ladies there taking the psycho's side and said I was attempting to kidnap my own son because there was no way we were family because of our different skin tones. One even called the police, which I was actually happy about because I knew they'd be able to review the security cameras. Even still, I called my wife to see if she could come to the store to get this situation cleared up quicker. As soon as I told her what was going on, she zoomed to the store. She got there about the same time as the police. The crazy ladies were giving their statement to the cops when my wife walked in. As soon as she walked in, my son goes, "Mama, help." My wife is a true mama bear and she immediately flew into a rage when she saw this lady holding my son. "Wife, let him go now." Lady: sorry sweetie, I was just trying to protect him from this pervert over here. Lady 2: yeah, we saw him trying to kidnap him, but this lady saved him. The cop looks at the lady and is confused. Officer: I thought this was your grandson. Wife: I have no idea who that lady is. She takes out her phone and shows the officer a picture of my mother-in-law. Lady: okay, I'm sorry, he's not my grandson, but I was only trying to protect him from this dirty pervert over here. Lady 2: yeah, I witnessed the whole thing. He snatched that child and tried to run away with him, but this lady stopped it. Lady 3: yes, I saw it too. He needs to be arrested. And you, pointing to my wife, should be thankful that this lady was here to save your son, because you obviously just let him loose wherever. Wife: who are you talking about again? All three crazy ladies pointed at me. Wife: oh, you mean my husband? Lady 1: husband? Wife: yeah, who do you think called me and got me here so fast? I presented my ID to the officer and the manager, and my wife did the same. We are also each showed picture of us on our phones to prove we were really a family. The cop nodded in approval and handed us our phones back and jotted down a few notes. The three ladies for some reason still kept trying to say this was all fake and my wife was in on the kidnapping and said we needed to be arrested. My wife lost it at this point and let off some colorful words I won't repeat here, but she definitely got her point across. Then the nail in the coffin came for the psycho trio. The office turned to the manager and asks, Officer: sir, do the cameras work here? Manager: yes, we have them inside and out. Officer: okay, great, let's go review. The three ladies' face went pale. Like ghostly pale. The officer reviewed the outside camera as I pulled into the parking lot and saw me take my son out of my car, and then as I went up and down the aisles, and most importantly the instance the woman snatched up my son and began to run. Upon his return he asks, Officer, would you like to press charges? Lady 1: yes, I would. Officer: why would I be asking you that question? Shut your mouth and sit down. He turns to me and repeats the question. Me: absolutely. Lady 1 was charged with attempted kidnapping, false imprisonment, providing a false police report, and child endangerment. The other two were also charged with providing a false police report as well. To make matters worse for Lady 1, my son bruises easily and she left some terrible spots on him from where she was grasping him, but he's fine. This added a charge of child abuse to her rap sheet. I have court later this year, but I'm not sure when because of COVID. The officer will be following up with me in a few weeks. Sorry for the length. Edit: wow, wasn't expecting this to blow up. Edit 2: thank you for the hug and gold awards, kind strangers. Edit 3: to everyone who has commented and shown support, thank you. I tried my best to respond to you all, but the messages came through so fast and I couldn't keep up. But thank you again. Edit 4: if you commented on my post negatively, well, that's on you and your miserable self. But if you said anything in regard to my son, then you can go screw yourself. I love how there are so many experts on here that know so much about my son, who you've never met. I posted this to vent my experience and get it off my chest. But whatever, I have nothing to prove to you. Edit 5: hi everyone, sorry I kind of went off grid. But I should have a real update soon. Apparently, the lady involved is connected to local police through family, so they're trying to be really quiet and drag this out as much as possible. But we have managed to get a court date in October. No date exactly yet. But trust me, I'll post as soon as I have more info. The next one is titled, Proposing at People's Wedding is Not Okay. Backstory: my mum and dad split up when I was 12 and I for one was happy that they were separated. They were not bad people, they just weren't the right people for each other. My father still hasn't been remarried, though he is dating someone right now. Don't really like her, but it's my dad's decision. My mum started dating a year after the divorce. She met my now stepfather, SF. He had a son who I became quite close to, considering my biological brother went to live with my dad while I lived with my mum. So, when my mum announced her wedding, we were all excited. So then SF's son becomes my official stepbrother, SB. Okay, we're done with backstory, onto the real story. My SB and his girlfriend of 3 years were getting married. Now girlfriend just happens to be my best friend, so I was extremely excited for them. I was chosen to be the maid of honor, and my biological brother, BB, was the best man. We were all that close. My SB's best friend, A=asshole, was one of the groom's men. I never really liked it because he was a total creep and always tried to hit on me when my SB wasn't there. SB is quite protective, so I didn't tell him, or he would have been arrested for murder. Also, I can stand up for myself. Anyway, once I finally got a girlfriend, he stopped annoying me. So, during the planning of the wedding, nothing crazy happened apart from the normal wedding stress. We invited almost everyone we knew, and it was going to be great, or so we thought. The big day arrives, and everyone is ecstatic. The ceremony was beautiful, and everything went great. Then the reception came. It was going great. The groom and bride plus the bridesmaids and groom's men were all seated at a table at the front of the venue while the guest was sitting in front of us. So, they were facing our table. Everyone was giving speeches and enjoying the food. Then out of nowhere a stand up and takes the mic and says he has something important to say. We're all confused as he had finished his speech, but let him talk. I wish we hadn't. He asks his GF to come up to the table, and I already knew where this was going. He starts a speech on how much he loves her and how they were meant for each other. She's smiling, but I think she didn't want this to happen now of all the times. He then kneels down and pulls a ring out of his pocket and asks her to marry him. She says yes. They start running around showing people the ring, all the while my best friend, BFF, looked like she was going to cry. My SB and BB were whispering to each other. I couldn't hear what they were saying. Finally, my mum gets up to remind everyone that this was her son's wedding and that we should stop talking about someone else's engagement. Everyone was quiet. Suddenly we hear this banshee scream. The girlfriend started screaming and crying, saying my mum had ruined her special day. Then I began screaming at us too, claiming that he did nothing wrong. They got kicked out in the end. My brother lost his best friend that day, but he didn't really care because that idiot lost all his friends. I'm also going to be a bit petty and say they can even have a wedding because of COVID-19, so hope they're happy. The next one is titled, Karen Thinks She Can Have Free Use of My Truck. A few years ago, I had a side hustle on my days off. My job had a rotational schedule where I worked 2 weeks then got 2 weeks off. I made plenty of money at my job, but it didn't hurt to make a little extra cash. I was in essence a tour guide. But for the region one lived in, I didn't have any planned tours, but usually just took people to see neat places that they would not know about or think to go to. I was adamant about getting paid up front. And customers signed an agreement saying that made guarantees to protect my truck from messes or damage. Never had any issues, fortunately, and people always enjoyed the places I showed them. Except for one family. They seemed friendly enough when I was having them sign a contract and collecting my fee. I should mention my fee was $15 per hour, plus $75, $35 if it was a half day. This covered a tank of fuel, plus paid for my time shuttling you around. I also kept a cooler with free water and some limited snacks. You were paying for my knowledge of the region, plus knowledge about the area's history and such. Plenty of times I had customers tell me, I've never seen so much cool stuff in one day. You could maybe find something cheaper, but I didn't care. Once money changed hands with this family, the attitude changed. They began treating me like I was a second-class citizen. But I had their money, so I didn't care. I drove the around to some of the most beautiful scenery you can find. It's rare people are left speechless by these places, and never have I seen someone not be impressed. Until now, every place I showed them they just seemed disappointed. One of the places was a ski town popular with a lot celebrities, not Aspen, and they were just like, hey, it's okay. I can't deny I was a little offended by their indifference, but whatever. They were never outright rude during the day, but were surprised when I didn't buy lunch for them. As I said, you're paying for my time, food is on you. But when I got back to town and dropped them off at their hotel, it got interesting. The wife says, you can just park in the back and leave the keys at the desk. Tell them they are for the Smith family. Me, I'm sorry, what? Wife, this truck, just park it in the back. We might use it later. Me, this is my truck. I'm not leaving it here, that's not part of the deal. Wife, oh please, there is no way you can own a vehicle like this. It obviously belongs to your company. Me, I do this job self-employed, on May days off from my regular job. I assure you, this is my truck. I can show you my name on the title. Wife, young man, I had just turned 30. If you don't do as you're told, I will be forced to call your boss. Me, you mean me? I am my boss. Wife, okay, smart ass, get your boss on the phone, right now. I thought about just driving off. It's 8 p.m. but then had a better idea. I called my supervisor at my real job. We'll call him Dan. Dan has been in the oilfield for 14 years and could be quite the cusser. Good supervisor, he knew what I did on my days off and even sent people my way a few times. He answered and I just said, one of my clients is demanding to speak with my boss, so here she is, and handed her my phone. Wife, sounding smug, I tried to tell your driver to leave the truck here so we could use it, but he lied and said he owns it. I could hear him yelling, are you ing stupid? I didn't discern anything else, but I know he gave her a good thrashing. She just walked to the window, handed me my phone and said, he wants to talk to you, then walked away. Boss, that fix your problem? Me, yay, thanks Dan, boss, anytime brother.